This video is intended to be an in-depth description of a Lightblade wand named Wise Healer that is a high Blu-ray concentrated device. I will start with the main blade banding, and for foundational sake, I'll start off with the transmutation blade band ratio. Seen right here is a combination of hematite, smoky quartz, running like so in a circuit, to this lateral band of, once again, hematite and smoky quartz running like so, and underneath these handbands concealed by this lovely lapis blue leather is, once again, hematite and smoky quartz igniting like so into this lateral band, then completing this circuit. So the transmutation ratio is a very useful foundational vibratory platform that has a very strong grounding of excess energy into the earth plane meridian matrix. The hematite is a very powerful metal, iron-based frequency stone that strongly grounds all stray energies through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix reprocessing. In tandem with smoky quartz purifies all the energy by taking any energies and grounding it through the whole system of the root into the earth stars, and once again into the earth star meridian matrix reprocessing. So these two frequencies in tandem are very successful for actually grounding all excess energies into positivity by taking all stray radial energies and making a strong ground arc point to the earth meridian matrix, which applies to any incoming external energies or internal energies, makes a very strong root ground to ensure, like composting, it all gets processed and bypassed into the earth, most importantly for etheric reprocessing for a healthy energetic signature structure. Hence the foundational platform of the transmutation ratio to get the most out of this high frequency diverse platform, which will be discussed in great detail, gets the most into tangibility, which is the whole endeavor and purpose of this light tech. And the primary blade band up here that gives it a heavy Blu-ray concentration focus is golden healer quartz right here, being a very powerful gold white light Christ frequency source, Christ consciousness alignment frequency, basically the emanation of the source of creation emanation in a very clean, pristine way. Hence, the subcapacitation of the entire blade band will put the entire sphere of energy in direct alignment with the source of creation, which is a pretty amazing, advantageous prerequisite goal. Not to mention, it has the aspects of using the Blu-ray to subcapacitate to ensure the highest truth of this reality realized. Starting off with blue lace agate to stabilize the fifth chakra is very useful for any kind of counselors and spiritual mediumship of any kind, to be true and to stabilize in one's truth for the highest impact of the impeccable fifth chakra. Then transitioning into lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli was a great stone of ancient Egypt, the stone of Isis, if you would. That was a wind elemental stone that stimulates the fifth and sixth chakras in tandem, and very advantageous for past life recall and any kind of soul mastery, psychic gifts into the conscious sphere of awareness. Then the lovely Larimar, an amazing stone of metaphysical notoriety, only discovered recently, 1982 in this timeline, in one island Dominican Republic. It's a very powerful, beautiful Blu-ray, soothing fifth and sixth chakra stimulant, a very oasis of calm energy generator, very oceanic, peaceful, soothing, clearing field. When you take those three Blu-ray stones with the subcapacitation of the Christ frequency, it puts the Christ ignition at the primary dominant vibration of the main blade band with the Blu-ray of truth in the trifecta seen here, which therefore makes a very effective base bone platform for the current to run through to be in a very high wise healer configuration. Hence the archetypal name that was chosen for this device. So that was just the blade banding, like seen like so. I will go ahead and start off with the primary engine down here, which will take quite a while because there's quite a bit to cover in this entirety of the section on both sides. And as a preface, this will have white leather covering this section like so, which will work as a hood or insulator to insulate the excess energy of the main engine section to further get consolidated. To also be white being a color therapy generator to have the full spectrum of these 7 rays in alignment, as well as it being a protector of the subtle stones in here that are placed like so in circuit format to also protect their placements as well. So it has a triple purpose besides aesthetics. And okay, I will start off with the clear Lemurian quartz running the length from here to here. It's a relatively large piece, which is the main heart of the device, or main engine if you would. Since clear quartz is a neutral programmable carrier ambient of energy, this is a great aspect of having the neutral programmability of the wielder to put prayers through the entire construct and make it very energy reactive to the recipient's energy impulses or prayers. Kind of like so. When, of course, engaged, that guy down there, his primary job is to be the main focused resonant attunement, to put the prayers in, to make it essentially a consciousness-assisted technology platform to have the intentions focalize and then discharge. Down here at the very apex of the engine band is two lovely black Tibetan quartz pieces right here. Tibetan black quartz, also seen right here, as well as over here next to the primary thumb engagement, are an amazing frequency from Tibet, where obviously thousands of years of extensive spiritual practice have gone into the region of the area, as far as the energy grounding into the land. So these, they suppose to be carbon-based black indications, but actually technically it's a undiscovered, scientifically unmapped black inclusion inside these clear structures that make it the Tibetan black quartz. Fun fact, it's still a little bit unknown of its mineral composition. But energetically speaking, it's a very powerful frequency for stimulating the entire chakra column, as well as putting the strong grounding into the earth, and also as well as a strong soul star activation of the higher chakra template, which makes a very powerful two-way purification through the entire energy field. So those by themselves are already master healers in that regard, and transmuters into negativity into positivity, much like smoky quartz, but in a more dramatic, higher soul star spiritual overtone. And they almost emanate the silent Om frequency just by resonating with them, because they're such a direct template of the spiritual work that happened in that area for thousands of years. So in a practical aspect, and applying it to a structure, it makes a very powerful purification through a kind of like psychic window wash. We really clears the field very quickly of even those stubborn patterns. So in the utilization of a broadcast, it's very effective to be a way to clear any negativity from the system even faster, which is the prerogative of a wise healer. And underneath that is another master healer stone named Star Argonite. That's a calcium-based light body full stimulate inducer. So since it's calcium-based, it works to clear any patterns from top to bottom. Any aspect of the chakra column and meridians that have blockages are rapidly dispelled and cleared, but gently done by this frequency that actually will remove any impediments for light body activation from top to bottom, every chakra column included. So it is truly one of those amazing master healers in the mineral kingdom, and this wise healer will have many of these master healers in one circuit, which will, of course, be addressed in Q. And right here is a very special variety of smoky quartz named smoky elestial quartz. Obviously, its basic connotation, like smoky quartz seen right here for the transmutation ratio, is to ground all excess energy into the earth to transmute into positivity. But the specialty of elestial quartz is that the special growth structure has a certain way of resonating with the higher self template in tandem with the physical template to be an auto-regulator of the higher self energy through the field. So you could think of it also as a auto-regulator or a dimmer switch to ensure the contact patch of exactly the energy needed for the situational needs for the wielder is being basically ramped to the maximum when in use, yet preventing fry out by giving a very safe arc bypass into the Earth Meridian Matrix for reprocessing, in tandem with it being a reactive device. So if it's in service and is used for healing purposes, it will of course mimic the intent of the higher self blueprint of the wielder and amp up the entire current. Yet if it's in rest mode and the person's relaxing, watching a movie, something like that, or just taking a stroll through the park, it will of course kind of dim the energy down when in that requirement for a more passive, relaxing environment. A very critical component hence is the second heart or sub-engine, if you would, to really get the most out of such a complex device, yet ensuring the comfortability and wieldability for a balanced life. Obviously, that's a prerogative. And right here, I will start off with this lateral band like so. This is a combination of kunzite, a lithium-based pink ray stone of divinity that's very soothing to the heart chakra. It also brings a very soothing vibration to the entire auric field. In tandem with the lovely rose quartz, another pink ray stone of heart chakra divine activity. Then going into lepidolite. Lepidolite is an amazing potassium lithium-based purple ray stone that brings extreme soothing to the physical, emotional, mental bodies. So when you combine those right there, it's a very powerful calming of the heart, calming of the mind, and putting one in scope with the divine energy, making the proper alignment of divine love in a very soothed manner. So obviously with such a complex operating system, yet 80% not described thus far, at least, having the soothing divine love ratio to be the overarching to soothe the vibrations through the entire auric field is critical to stay in alignment with the wise healer configuration. To always ensure that connection and soothness with the divine plan is the priority. This right here is a lovely specimen of tourmalated quartz. This obviously is quartzite, a little bit of quartz with calcite in the matrix, making it white, with black bolts of tourmaline. So that by itself makes a clearing, acceleration, programmability nature of this device, with black tourmaline being a very powerful purifier, or swirl as is known. Another lovely black ray grounding stone of grounding excess negativity and connecting the earth plane with the earth stars to purify further. This right here is lovely lithium-based petalite. Petalite is an amazing clear lithium-based ray stone that activates the 6th, 7th, and non-physical chakras and also brings another very soothing witness self-perspective reality to the perception of the wielder. This right here is Super 7. It's an exotic variety of amethyst with 7 other minerals in it. So for intents purposes, you can think of it being primarily amethyst for the 6th, 7th transmutation, purification on physical chakras to the higher self Godhead connection, and to bring more purification of the opposite spectrum besides the grounding point to ground that wind through the whole system. So obviously, that being said, all these frequencies are wired to one primary circuit, so even the small dose of all these runs through the entirety of the variables, making the equation that is Wise Healer's vibratory output. As a quick little disclaimer as I continue on my rant. Right here, this is Amazonite. It's a feldspar-based water elemental 5th and 4th chakra stimulant, also utilized in ancient Egypt, particularly in Tutankhamun's scarab beetle ring, famously worn, and of course was utilized by the adepts initiates for being another blue ray stone of ancient Egypt. Hence, its incorporation was critical, even in a small dose, to have that right frequency pitch of the magical stones used in Egypt, which will be described in great notoriety as the progression continues. This right here is serpentine from my lovely backyard here in Mount Shasta. And serpentine is a very powerful, almost underrated, common-looking stone, but is quite potent in its capacity to actually generate a kundalini surge through the entire system. So it's a very powerful kundalini stimulant. From the earth stars, rising the energy through the entire chakra column in procession to have a unified light body field, but most importantly, a ground-up aspect and also very advantageous for physical cellular respiration to an ideal configuration. Then right here is a small little dose of blue calcite. Blue calcite is a fire elemental blue ray 5th and 6th chakra clear, which of course is complementary to the entire blue ray focus. Having a little clearing dose of blue ray would go a long way as well. This right here is the mighty fulgurite. Fulgurite is petrified lightning. This is the result of lightning striking sand and catching that energy into a crystalline format, making a crystal that looks like a lightning strike into sand, holding the energy of lightning. Fulgurite is a very potent light body stimulant, the entire chakra column. It's literally the mimicking of the energy of lightning going through the structure, but not to fret. It's very well stabilized and grounded through the arc, so you get the most out of that intensive energy while it has a very complex subroutine, basically buffering and governing its vibratory output, yet in a small dose like so, really intensifies the unified field through the whole construct, and to intensify one's prayers in connection to creation. Hence, its First Nation utilization was that to intensify, augment the prayers of shamans and medicine women. So a very, very powerful high-frequency stone, also a very powerful physical energizer because it does have that energy of lightning going through the entire meridian chakra system. And as a very important contingency for this whole device is the stabilization ratio section that is at all the elemental spectrum, starting with red jasper, the stabilized root chakra, red ray, like so, was utilized in ancient Egypt actually to tie to the wrists of newborns to anchor their bodies and stabilize them into their physical bodies. So it's a very classically utilized humble stone, but very potent in its long-term stability of a stabilized red ray root chakra. Highly underrated stone in my opinion, and one of my favorites for its simple, just stationary, grounded, strengthening, stabilizing influences. Then going into fire agate. Fire agate stabilizes the base, the sacrum, and the solar plexus in a very perfect way. Having the stabilized lower three is a very advantageous aspect for completing the circuit and having full physical health in reality. Then going into the water element is moss green agate, which highly stabilizes the heart chakra to its highest configuration. Very useful. Once again, blue lace agate in a larger dose than seen up here on the blade band. Blue lace agate is a master stabilizer of the fifth chakra. No other stone in the mineral kingdom quite stabilizes the fifth chakra stimulation quite like blue lace agate. So its utilization is, I feel, criminally underrated for crystal stone enthusiasts for the aspect of really stabilizing the fifth chakra, which is a very advantageous aspect for mental health, as well as being able to speak coherently and clearly on very metaphysically demanding context in a very sustained, stabilized manner. So for spiritual counselors or any kind of wisdom givers of any kind, for a wise healer, that's a quite an essential component to have in the structure. Then switching over here is the lovely and rare Holly Blue Agate. Actually, it's purple, but that's its trade name since it was basically discovered more in our modern timeline. So this purple agate is a stabilization of the 6th and 7th chakras, and is only found in one mine in northern Oregon and was utilized by the First Nation tribes there for millennia as being a stone of heaven, which they are absolutely right about. So a relatively rare stone, but luckily, due to divine providence, I seem to always have good access to this frequency for this completed circuit. So what's important here is that stabilizing the earth, fire, water, and wind through the entire structure also makes a diffusion of stabilizing the earth, fire, water, and wind through the entire output of this device as one of its complex subroutines, which is very advantageous for stabilized long-term gains, to put it very lightly. Because stability is key on the path of spirituality as far as I'm concerned, and that's my best answer set in stone is this kind of circuit subroutine. And the other side over here, so starting off with this lovely piece of purple labradorite right here, also found at the other side is the purple labradorite here as well at the very apex of the blade. So, labradorite is an amazing stone of magic, mystery, and intuition. Whenever I find myself doing my best in these videos to describe and quantify the aspects of labradorite, I always find myself trying to describe the mysteries of the ocean. Its vastness and potentiality and veil-piercing capacities are quite still very mysterious, but I'll do my best to keep it pragmatic and practical in adherence to this video description. Labradorite is a very powerful wind elemental stone that has a strong connection to the 6th chakra, and is a very powerful force field generator of higher frequency energy to protect the energy field of the wielder of this frequency. So in a little dose in a closed loop circuit also makes a very powerful psychic intuition increase of magic or vibratory induction or impulses of energy, quite simply. So labradorite is a very advantageous stone for aspects of any kind of practitioner of magic, to put it lightly, and for it increases the prayers by really breaking the limitations of the waking self, and it's very much powerful stone for synchronicity and all things quite magical. Hence, it's a favorite to many of those who do enjoy, indeed, mystical aspects of creation. So, a heavy concentration of labradorite here and the very tip were quite essential in honoring the archetype of the wise healer. And right here, there are 3 pieces of shungite. Shungite is a black-gray carbon-based stone, quite in vogue in this timeline due to its effect that it can successfully transmute EMF 5G radio wave bands that would affect the subtle DNA of the auric field and successfully transmute them, purify them, then of course discharge them into the Earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, like a charcoal filter, if you would. Always works to mitigate the harmful effects that 5G have on our subtle DNA that is, of course, not really widely notarized in mainstream science, or at least it is, but no one really talks about it as being a detriment to humanity. These guys are a great contingency to have that frequency to constantly filter. So even, like I said, even a small dose of any frequency seen here notarized is wire wrapped to the termination wire, which means it runs through the entirety of this closed loop circuit, creating vibrational compound interest of any frequency seen here in a closed loop reactive circuit. This right here is the lovely tiger's eye. Tiger's eye aligns and stabilizes the root, sacrum, and solar plexus. So tiger's eye dramatically aligns these lower 3 centers very nicely and correctly, so it is thereby a stone of harmony and balance and physical strength. An amazing stone to have like that lower 3 antithesis for this entire high frequency construct is answered right here. Then right here behind the smoky celestial quartz is a large piece of petrified wood from Mount Shasta. So petrified wood is a very powerful, technically is a mineral because it's wood that oftentimes fell into a prehistoric river to crystallize in the soil underground and become, indeed, a crystal. Yet is a tree from an ancient timeline, perhaps several million years ago. So it has that ancient earth contact patch set in stone. So it's a very, very powerful earth gateway connector to put one's energy field in connection with Mother Earth or Gaia in a very stabilized, intensive contact patch way. So having that aspect terminated behind the celestial focus also further intensifies the ground of all this excess energy being described through this entire construct, which of course is important for transmutation and most importantly is making any theoretical magic more real in the 3D plane reality. Hence the purpose, tangibility. That's another very great stone of grounding right here. And up here is the lovely blue sapphire. Blue sapphire is an amazing corundum, stone of royalty, precious stone for a very good reason. It's a wind elemental 5th and 6th chakra stimulant. It's actually ruby's blue ray cousin, which I'll get into right here is a little bit of ruby. So a stone of royalty is a very powerful inner truth, inner king, inner queen archetypal aligner, as well as speaking one's highest wisdom in a very profound way. Blue sapphire is incredible for that purpose of the blue ray stone. So even a small dose like this blue sapphire right here will go a long way for such a heavy blue ray concentration device. Next to that is the ruby and zoisite. So ruby is the red ray cousin to sapphire. Ruby is a very powerful red ray root chakra stimulant, perhaps unsurpassed in stimulation of the red ray in the mineral kingdom, hence its notoriety as a precious stone is well documented in human history. And its magical connotations were well utilized for thousands of years in modern recorded history, because its zest for life, passion, personal strength, energy is very unparalleled. So that's a nice little aspect about ruby, but yet it's in a natural synergistic combination of zoisite. Zoisite is a green ray stone that has a lovely heart-mind coherence engagement. So having the heart, mind in coherence is obviously a very advantageous spiritual state that would be that of a wise healer. So having the trifecta of ruby being a very powerful action stimulant to the heart and mind makes a very dynamic trifecta of one's true high self manifestation, heart, mind, coherence, and grounded in that trifecta, a very powerful shifting device for positive life changes into one's dharmic blueprint. And to back all that right there is black tektite. Black tektite is the product of a nickel iron meteorite oftentimes, impacting sand, catching the cosmic jolt into 3D reality, carrying the extraterrestrial impact energy that entered our Earth plane. Since it's a black gray stone, it's a very powerful energy body stimulant from the Earth stars, bottom of the feet, all the way up the chakra calm, increasing Kundalini strength, also generally rising vibration of the entire field. But very nicely in this case is a black ray increase of energy from the root up, constantly buffering out the field, increasing higher frequency potency. Surprisingly, I think that's already just the main engine after about 26 minutes. These sections always take quite a while to describe in notoriety because obviously they're quite complex, and once the hood's covered, they will never be seen again. So obviously I'm very thorough in that description. Like previously mentioned, the lapis blue leather has transportation blade band ratios underneath both sides, which are the handbands, going into the lateral band, then going into the primary thumb engagement. This is designed to actually have the thumb engage like so, like that. The foundation of this entire thumb engagement is, you can't quite see anymore because it's concealed by all the crystals, but is Faden quartz. Faden quartz is a very special kind of quartz that actually is constantly breaking and regrowing in its life cycle. So you can't see it in this video, but the structure has breaks and restitches, breaks and restitches, breaks and restitches, which in turn makes a vibration applied through it actually break and then restitch, break and restitch. So any kind of breaks in the energy field from top to bottom get restitched. Got a tongue twister going. Gets restitched. So you can think of any kind of like continuity breaks. This frequency mimics the requirement of filling in the gaps when it breaks in the field. Let's say there's a traumatic sacrum base deficiency from an extreme trauma that has occurred in the jurisdiction of the wielder of this device. It works like automatic, like a stint or vibrational fix-a-flat to fill the gaps so the other frequencies can actually amend and heal the underlying damage and make it as comfortable as possible, kind of like a Band-Aid, if you would, to fill in the cracks. So it makes a perfect foundational placement for these other stones of high dharmic accelerants. This right here is the amazing Libyan gold tektite. Libyan gold tektite is a lesser known cousin to moldavite, vibrationally speaking, that was highly utilized by the Egyptian court of the Magi and the god king pharaohs of the old timelines to have a very powerful gold frequency found in one desert that actually is 150 square miles of barren desert that the pharaohs would actually have their Magi, their wizards, remote view to find these caches and go in expeditions just to bring this back, to bring it to the magical craftsmen of the time and turn it into magical artifacts. Particularly the scarab beetle was always carved out of this to be put into the central breastplate of the pharaoh's regalia to be a central engine of their magical breastplates, which was indicative of their god king office. Anyway, I digress. What's relevant here is that it has very powerful ancient Egyptian mystery frequencies of the god kings of old, and is a very powerful golden ray stimulant to the solar plexus and sacrum in tandem, but yet there's a storm overtone, so it actually has an entire illumination of the entire energy field as a whole. So it's very powerful for aligning one's divine will with a personal will to be in alignment with their divine blueprint. Especially in tandem with moldavite right here. This is the green ray stone of great infamy and notoriety in this timeline for being a very potent, obvious, tangible dharmic accelerant. So the aspects of moldavite dramatically intensify the connection of the green ray to the source of creation, and has been more notably mentioned to be a dramatic